The INFJ stare. Yeah, that stare. This is one thing I think every one of us, every INFJ can relate to. That's one of the things that when I first heard about, whether I was questioning my INFJ type, I realized, oh my gosh, I've had this stare my whole life. And I'm going to talk about why that is, what this stare is. And I think that's one thing that we all have in common, especially. Yeah, this is Tom, and welcome back to the INFJ experience. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about things that affect our lives as INFJs. And today it's about the INFJ stare and why we have that and what it's all about. Now, just think about it. This stare can be a lot of things to a lot of people. This stare can be very alluring. This stare can be mesmerizing. This stare can be seductive. This stare can be tempting. It can have a lot of things. It can be. It can also be something that can be frightening. It can be unnerving, and it can be very intimidating to some people as well. So there's a lot packed into this stare. I want to talk about why it is that we have this stare, where it comes from. Well, first of all, I mean, as you know, we are introverted first, and we are intuitive first. So we are always in our head, okay? We're always thinking about things. We're always thinking ahead. We're always thinking in the future. We're in the vast labyrinth of our mind. And of course, our mind is deep. It's very complex. I mean, it's a deep ocean. I mean, in our mind, we can imagine things like staircases and corridors and spirals and just ways of like abstractly thinking about things to compute our mind in order to troubleshoot, in order to come to conclusions. It's always a maze, a deep, intricate web of mazes. But that's the only way to put it into words, how deep our mind is. So we're always there. And sometimes it takes great focus for us to say, okay, focus, stay out of your head. I got a task I got to do, focus, okay? And occasionally we have to kind of do that just to get out of our head occasionally. So we're always there, okay? So that is our our introverted intuition is our first primary function that we have. It's our most dominant. Okay, so our second dominant is extroverted feeling. Okay, so yeah, we're feelers. Yeah, that's why we're on the FE type. We're extroverted feelers next. That's why we have that feeling thing. We tend to like to harmonize with people. We tend to like to fix situations. We're empathetic. We have compassion. Okay, we don't overdo it. We get a good balance of it. Most of us do, but we should have a balance of that. Not to be too overt about it, but inside we know we have all these traits. And then of course we have the third function is the introverted thinking. Okay, and so so we have feeling, then we have thinking, and that basically keeps everything in check. That's just keeping everything categorized. That's our logic. We're thinking. We're trying to put everything, make sense of it, put it into logical focus, and just making sure that everything is in order. Then of course we have our last function was our extroverted sensing. Now imagine that, like I brought that up before, is that extroverted sensing, our windows to the actual world itself are just that's our lacking function. That's our one that's least developed. I mean, yes, we're here, but we're kind of not here. It's almost like we're in two worlds at the same time. In fact, we're slightly more in our head than we are in our own world, and that's why that is a drawback. The extroverted sensing is because we're more in one than we are the other. So after saying all that, also knowing that the eyes are the windows to the soul, okay? Everybody said that's the old saying, the eyes are the windows of the soul. In fact, that's what we're doing. When we're peering into somebody's eyes, I mean, it's actually described as having somebody peers right into your soul. And now after saying all that, the stare is when all of these functions converge onto one. Let's say you are fascinated with somebody. Let's say you have somebody you're looking at. You're trying to connect with somebody. Maybe you're watching somebody from afar and you're just trying to think about it. It's almost like you're laser focused your introverted intuition, your extroverted feeling, your introverted thinking, and your extroverted sensing are all kind of almost focused like a laser, all at one time, and it's staring, drawing right in. Now, what brings the eyes into the fact is the fact, like I said, we're always in our head. We're always there first. So as we're looking out at this laser focus on this stare, we are actually looking into from our world, from our complex inner world, and we're looking out, meaning that the windows of the eyes to the eyes of the windows of the soul. We are looking out, so we're actually seeing everything projected out. So you're seeing our world through our eyes. So, and of course, it's usually met with that kind of a monotone, blank face. You know, they call that the RBF, R a-hole face. It's got these nicknames too, where it's kind of a just a blank slate, because we're so intense in our focus that there's really no room for facial expressions. It's like it's that much of a focus that it's almost like just blanking our face into that stare. I mean, we don't smile a lot anyway. When we're in those zones, when we're in our head, our face seems to be very monotone, that resting face that we talked about. So anyway, so it's going to give it that. So the eyes of the soul, and we're looking from almost like out a window, from our inner world, through the window of our eyes as we're looking at something, fixated on something, and it gives it that stare that we always say, the INFJ stare. That's basically how it works. I mean, that's how intense we are. But anyway, people, any INFJ, that's one thing that seems to be the main thing that we can all understand, and we all have very much in common. And that's one of the understanding factors, is then we've all known that we've had this all our life. Now, to put it into perspective, I mean, sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating. I mean, sometimes now that you're aware who you are, maybe you've already done this in your life, is that you've tried to soften your eyes at the right moments. You try not to be so intense to some people. You don't want to scare people off. You don't want them to be too deep, because most of our life we've been misunderstood anyway. And a lot of it has to do with that first impression of that stare that could make people unnerved about it, make them nervous to you. And also, I mean, so I mean, we may tend to come up with a way of just softening our eyes, maybe making them less intimidating, like letting them look a little softer, maybe not stare at somebody as much. Now, as you guys out there, okay, I know there's a lot of men out there watching these. Also, this is one of the things that I think that we've instinctively, as men, we grew up in this world, especially the INFJ men, and we know that we've had a tough childhood. We've had a tough life. We've had to defend ourselves in such a way. We know that we were easy targets early on in our life, and we've had to develop a certain shield, a certain fortress within ourselves. So what did we do? We were able to actually develop a certain stare. We knew we had this intimidating, intense stare. So people that were threatening to us, at least this is my point. Okay, at least with me, this is what I'm talking about. I'm sure some of the other guys kind of know what I'm talking about, is that we've had that stare. And so we've actually used that as a defense mechanism. Okay? There's certain situation, you might be in a rough part of town, maybe you were at school and you knew some certain kids were just, not good. Maybe they were going to mess with you. So you've developed that certain scowl, that look, that intensity in your eyes that's just kind of would be off-putting. Maybe just back somebody off. Just let them think twice before they wanted to, mess with you. I mean, think about this. You go back to the animal kingdom again, and there are certain animals in the animal kingdom that use decoys in order for self-defense. You look at the peacock. You look at the peacock as he fans out those feathers, and that's for two purposes. I mean, a lot of it is because the peacock will use that fan, and it will be in a courtship. It will, to attract the female. It's the beauty of its fan and how spread out it is. It's actually quite an alluring creature in itself. But also, so that's the courtship of it. But also, there's a defense as far as that goes. when he feels threatened, when he feels, cornered or intimidated by a predator of some kind, he'll put the fan out as a way of having all these feathers look like multiple eyes, looking, staring at the predator like from every angle, and it will basically intimidate a predator from thinking twice if it wants to attack. Now, there's certain moths and butterflies. I talked about butterflies before, but some of them have markings on the back of their wings that look like owl eyes, and they're far apart on each side of the tips of the wings to look like a wider stance, like it's a larger animal with focused eyes, almost like literally eyes in the back of your head. So this is another intimidation factor with the eyes that is common in the animal kingdom. But after saying that, as the INFJ, and of course I'm sure it's not just common to the INFJ, but yeah, we develop a certain look in our eyes, something that says that we're strong, we're together, we're with it, we're not weak. There's a certain stance that we've adapted through our life. At least I know I have. And for the most part, it keeps some of the bad guys at bay. It just keeps them thinking twice before they want to advance, just in case. You know what I'm saying? So it can have its advantages, but there's times where we need to soften it up a little bit, so we don't intimidate the wrong people, or we don't want to off-put the wrong people as well. So I think we pretty much all figured that out. But that is why the stare is what it is. So anyway, people, I hope you hope you liked that video. I've said quite a bit. So anyway, people, like I say in all these videos, please subscribe to my channel so I can make more content, and give me the thumbs up, give me the likes, the comments, all that good stuff that goes along with these videos, if you would, please, and so I can continue to make more. I'm trying to build a community of INFJs, so we have a place to go. So we have a brotherhood here. Maybe even I'm sure there's some sisters out there. They're not just excluding all brothers, but we have a camaraderie here. So anyway, people, show me some interest. Let me know you like this, and subscribe to my channel. Well, anyway, thank you again, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one.